You're listening to the Armchair Cricket Podcast.
Hello all. Welcome to another episode of Armchair Cricket Podcast, a podcast focusing on Test cricket by armchair critics of the game. Today we are recording this episode even while the tri-series that is ongoing in Singapore, a match is going on now, and India versus South Africa women's T20 is ongoing as well. So in today's episode, I'll be your host Ajit. We have a special guest, Malhar, who is joining us from India. Hello Malhar, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Ajit, thanks for this. Really excited to be on here.
Yeah, indeed. Nice to have you as well. So, what do you do and what is your background with cricket?
So, obviously, because I'm from India, following cricket is like a natural thing to do. And it all started back when the first IPL was played. I was a big Adam Gilchrist fan. I think I still am, but he doesn't play anymore, sadly. Secondly, I write about cricket for The Last Word on Cricket. It's a UK-based website. And also I've done a few podcasts. My major field of interests are basically associate cricket, Scotland, Netherlands, well, Ireland's a full member now, but even they interest me a lot. Apart from that, if you talk about me playing, then I think I'm a half decent leg spinner, and I'm still on my way though. So my hand grenades aren't really very good, but I'm practicing. So hopefully I'll get there someday.
All right. Good luck with both your on-field and off-field exploits as far as cricket goes. Let's first pick up the most important topic that's on our horizon today. So it's the preview of an India-South Africa Test series. So we know that the Test series begins on 2nd October with the first Test being played in Vizag, the second one in Pune, and the third one later on, I think it's in Ranchi this time, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to, the squads and everything, maybe let's go through the squads first. The India squad has Kohli as skipper. Then you have Rahane, Mayank Agarwal, Ravichandran Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav, Shami, Rishabh Pant, Cheteshwar Pujara, Riddhiman Saha, Ishan Sharma, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Hanuma Vihari, and Umesh Yadav. Right? So this is the squad.
Yeah.
For South Africa, the captain is Faf du Plessis, and you have Temba Bavuma, Theunis de Bruin, Quinton de Kock, Dean Elgar, Henrik Klaasen, Keshav Maharaj, Eden Markram, Senuran Muthuswamy, Lungi Ngidi, Heinrich Nortje, Vernon Philander, Dane Peat, Kagiso Rabada, and Zubair Hamza. So this is the squad for South Africa. So let's begin some of the interesting topics. So first of all, maybe we can look at the first test compositions for both the teams. So from India's perspective, who do you think would be the first test, let's say the 11 for India?
Well, personally, I feel, it's a well-known fact that Rohit is going to open. So Rohit, Mayank Agarwal, Pujara at 3, Kohli at 4, Vihari to follow, Pant or Saha with the gloves, and Ashwin, Jadeja, Ishant and Shami make up the bowling attack. But there is one spot left in my 11, and I feel maybe Kuldeep or Rahane could play. But it all depends on the conditions, whether India want to go for an extra batsman or an extra spinner. I think India will probably just stick to 2 fast bowlers and maybe 3 spinners, but it all depends on the conditions. It's a well-known fact that South Africa aren't really very good at playing spin bowling. So I think Kuldeep might play.
So it's in Vizag. That looks like a decent enough 11 from my perspective. I see a couple of changes there. So first of all, you say 3 spinners and 2 fast bowlers?
Yes.
So who would be your fast bowlers?
Ishant and Shami.
Ishant and Shami would be your starters. Okay.
Yes.
In that case, how about the batting? So let's say Rohit starts opening with Mayank Agarwal. You have Kohli at 3, and you have Pujara at 3 and Kohli at 4. Rahane at 5. And then you have with Vihari would be there at 6.
Yeah, I think, but alright, Rahane could come at 5 probably and Vihari at 6. But I think at 6, Vihari, it's pretty low for him, don't you think so?
No, he's been doing all right. His good innings last, let's say the tour of West Indies, he did really well at number 6. He showed that he can bat with the tail, right? He scored a 93, and then the 100 he got was in Ishan Sharma's company as well.
Right, yeah.
So for me, I would say, yeah, he fits in at 6. And I don't think this Indian team, because Hardik Pandya is not available, I don't really see them making that, have one batsman short and have Pant and Pandya there so that they both can make up for the batting, let's say.
Yeah.
So you're saying 5 bowlers. So because when you add 5 bowlers, that is 3 spinners and 2 fast bowlers, and Pant, that will only mean 5 batsmen. Then probably Hanuma Vihari is not there in your 11, right?
No, he is there in my 11. I left one spot empty, which can be filled by Kuldeep or Rahane.
Oh, interesting team. So for
Yeah.
me, I don't see Rahane sitting out, right? If anything, Vihari may sit out. I see Rahane as the senior man would probably come back into the 11 because, I mean, he had some, there were some doubts about his position in the team, but I think he answered them decently in the Caribbean tour, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, I don't see him sitting out. Maybe Hanuma Vihari would sit out, but that would be a bit harsh on him considering
It'll
that
be
he's done
very
really
harsh
well,
on him.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say because of the lack of, let's say, the all-round ability of Hardik Pandya, India would probably go with a 4-6-1. That is 4 bowlers, 6 batsmen, and 1 keeper. Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So then I would play Agarwal and Rohit Sharma at the top, followed by Pujara, then Kohli, then Rahane, 5, 6, Hanuma Vihari. Right?
Yeah.
7 would be Pant, then
Or Saha.
yeah, that's another talking point. So 7 would be your keeper slot. Let me put it like this.
Right.
Okay. Then 8, 9 would be, for me, it would be Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yeah.
And then 10 and 11, my 10 would be Shami and my 11 would be Umesh Yadav.
Oh, interesting.
Right? This is my 11. All right. So let's get into it a bit more, but I eventually would have to also move over to the South African 11. So let's get into it a bit right away. So first of all, let's see. Your keeper is Pant or Saha?
My keeper would be Saha for this tour because I think he's done reasonably well against South Africa A.
Right.
And also he played versus West Indies A on the Caribbean tour. So he scored a couple of 50s. And I think he's good enough. Pant's selection would be justified based on his aggressive batting tempo. But recently, he hasn't quite fired at his best with the willow.
Right.
I don't see why Saha shouldn't be playing ahead of him.
When it comes to pure glove work, I sort of agree with you. Saha is experienced. He's also more of a pure keeper. Pant is a good keeper, no doubt, but he's still learning his craft, right? He's not up to a Saha level. The other thing, of course, it's probably the batting temperament. So Saha scores some tough runs, right? You've already showed that he indeed makes a lot of tough runs. Whenever it's required, he's able to score those tough runs for this team.
Exactly.
But he's coming back from an injury layoff. He's not played an international test in like 19 months. So there are a couple of these important points as well. And Pant is a man in possession, right? So they say 9/10 of the law is possession, and Pant is the man in possession of the keeping gloves.
Yeah.
His form has been a bit patchy with the limited overs cricket for sure, right? He has been a bit patchy when it comes to T20s. He's not really shaken the world up, so to say. So his previous performance both in the Caribbean as well as in the recent T20s were not particularly good. But I don't know if that means his leash has really run out and the team management now want to replace him altogether in the team, or whether they want to give him a little bit of a warning, a jolt, by including Saha in and saying, you know what, don't take your position for granted. That doesn't mean you'll play at all times. Right?
Exactly. England did it with Johnny Bairstow recently.
Indeed. So that might indeed be a good way of looking at it. For me, I would really want Saha to start. So instead of I would really want Saha to play. Now the second position or the second point of contention was Hanuma Vihari spot or not. But what do you say? So do you think 5-5-1 or 4-6-1?
I think 4-6-1, but Vihari has to play, I feel.
But then
very good with the tail.
All right. Then Vihari will play, then it will be 4-6-1. So then the 4. Right?
Yeah.
So would it be 2 fast bowlers and 2 spinners, or 3 spinners and 1 fast bowler then for you?
2 spinners, 2 fast bowlers. I think they are more than capable to pick the South African wickets.
All right. That's what I would say as well. So then who are your 2 spinners and who are your 2 fast bowlers? So 2 spinners first maybe?
Ashwin and Jadeja. I think that's a no-brainer. And fast bowlers, I'll go for Ishant and Shami.
Okay. So that's a good pick actually. For me, look, nothing against Ishant. He's the holding pattern bowler and he's more or less certain to start. But I chose 2 like impact bowlers in Shami and Yadav because you don't have Bumrah, who's sort of an impact bowler. Ishant Sharma is always very effective as a holding pattern. Especially when
Yeah.
you're playing abroad, you have Ishant Sharma who can hold one end up. Here, you have your spinners, so Jadeja can as well do that. He can hold one end up and Ashwin can attack from one end. Or so instead, you know that your fast bowlers will probably bowl like 20, 25 overs in an innings, no more than that. So 12 per bowler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why not pick the two fast bowlers? So you have Shami and Yadav who both are very effective. So why not pick them for their shock value? Because they only need to deliver like 12 overs a day or something. Maybe you can pick them and get away with it, right? You don't need a holding pattern bowler like Ishant Sharma who bowls 20 overs a day so that everybody can bowl around him. This is one thought process. The other is maybe you miss the experience that Ishant Sharma brings with his lengths and everything. And Umesh Yadav can be a bit unpredictable. He can bowl all over the place.
Exactly.
This is a little bit of a worry. I'm going for the shock value. I'm still going to say Umesh Yadav and Shami should play. And Umesh Yadav, I think, has enough experience bowling well in Indian conditions because I think in the last season, in one of the tests in India when he bowled, I think he took a 10 for. So he can also be a match-winning bowler on Indian conditions because he just needs to bowl 12 overs. I know he is nothing to worry. So he goes all out. And that's what you need sometimes, right? But then you have to be a bit careful because South Africans are so used to playing faster bowling. And bowling too many people or having too many fast bowlers in the team may sort of play into their hands. It's sort of a balance to be struck. So this is for me, this is the way I would go. And my spinners would definitely be, let's say, Ashwin and Jadeja. For me, it's a no-brainer. But I'm worried the team management may probably think a bit differently. In the last couple of months, Ashwin's spot in the team has not been certain. But they were all away tours, of course, right?
Exactly.
So once we get back to India, I think he's the number one spinner. But let's see how the team management goes. I mean, it'll be Jadeja and one other spinner, whether it'll be the spinner in Kuldeep Yadav or the traditional spinner or off spinner in Ashwin. I'm really hoping they don't go by the sort of thinking that, you have Hanuma Vihari who can bowl a few overs of spin. Why not have Kuldeep Yadav? It's a thought process.
Ashwin offers more with the bat than Kuldeep.
Yeah. So that would be a good counterpoint actually. That Ashwin is also a good batsman and he's been doing the rounds. So he's gone to county cricket and he's played longer format cricket to keep himself match fit and sort of.
Yes, he's bowled a lot of overs.
Indeed. So that would hold him in good stead, I would say, and he should be the one that should be playing, right? So absolutely. Now that was the Indian squad. Do you have anything else? Any other talking point you see with the Indian squad?
Rohit opening.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's an experiment that could go either way. If you look at his career, he's when he batted for India, he's batted at number 5, number 6 sometimes, and he's done reasonably well, you could say. In South Africa, in Australia, and in India, he made his debut in India. So obviously, he scored 2 in hundreds against West Indies. But I think it's very difficult to replicate those performances at the top. With the ball seaming and swinging early. And especially against the likes of Vernon Philander and Kagiso Rabada. So I think it's going to be a tall order for him because, from what I see this has Jason Roy vibes written all over it. White ball opener opening in test matches.
Right.
He looks a little bit out of position for me. But let's see.
I sort of agree with you. It's sort of a converted opener that works. But what I see about Rohit as a player, right? Yeah. He's not really comfortable when there is already an agenda that has been set up by somebody. He's not able to get into it. For example, batting at 5 and 6 requires a certain amount of mental strength. It's not that he doesn't have it. It requires a different kind of an approach in the third innings or the fourth innings of the game, right? Yeah. So you need to be able to bat around other people, bat with the tail, all of these things. So maybe Rohit is not particularly suited to that role. But look, Rohit, the middle order batsman, is very effective. But Rohit, the opener, we saw what he can do in one days, right? He's probably one of the most successful one day openers out there currently.
Absolutely.
So,
but then so is Jason Roy.
Yeah,
again, it's white ball versus red ball. It's a big difference.
Indeed.
We'll wait and watch.
It'll be a good test of his technique, right?
Exactly. Yes. Definitely.
Given that somebody like Vernon Philander, probably one of the best swing bowlers out there, right?
Absolutely.
So, but the thing that are in his favor, one, he'll be the one setting the agenda. He'll go with a blank score card, 0 for 0, right? And that usually helps him. That's what at least I feel, right? And he's playing in India. He's not playing in England or South Africa or Australia or some other or New Zealand where the ball can hoop all over the place. So it'll be only an 8 or 10 hour period that he'll have to watch out for.
Yeah.
After that, he can actually take some more time. So
exactly.
He can probably, if he bats out the 10, 12 hours, and you have along with him a more traditional opener, Mayank Agarwal, who's done the job all his life. So he can sort of pick up a couple of points. The things that go against him are again those things. He's not opened previously. He's not opened in red ball cricket previously or in the lower leagues, Ranji
Yeah,
or in.
he
He's
has
not
opened only thrice in first class cricket, but that was way back in 2009, 2012 period when he started playing first class cricket.
Mm-hmm.
That dates way back.
Right. So that's one of the things that might go against him because it's a temperament thing. And also, sometimes when the going is really, really tough, as an opener, you are
Yeah,
expected to actually just hang around there, do nothing. Right?
exactly.
So
Yes.
just stay there for half an hour, stay there for 45 minutes. I don't know if you remember Hanuma Vihari's opening innings in Australia, one innings, I think.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a
yeah.
60 ball 5 or some such score, and that can be a good opener's innings because the
Could
rest
be.
of you are basically there to shield the rest of the batting 11 for 20 overs, right? You
Yeah,
take
yeah, yeah.
the
Correct.
shine of the new ball, air quotes, so that
Exactly.
you just wait it out. 25 overs or first session, you give it to the bowlers. You just keep blocking. You don't look at the scorecard at all. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if he has this sort of a temperament. This is one of the things that bothers me. But look, he's so fluent as a stroke player, and he's really good off the back foot. So short pitch bowling probably never bothers him. So these
Yeah.
are also things that will be good for him. And I think he has the right temperament. He's reached the time of his career. He's 30 plus. He's seen the ups and downs of cricket, and he's very confident in his own skills. So sometimes it helps if you know how much you can do rather than what is all possible. If you know exactly what you can do, then you can only concentrate on that and keep building on that, right? I think he's in
Absolutely.
that sort of a place in his career, and he can, I would say, reinvent himself as a opener.
Yeah.
But this discussion is an interesting one because there is another name or a couple of names we can throw into the field here. Probably Shikhar
Yeah.
Dhawan is out of the reckoning for a test match opener slot in these days.
Yeah.
There's still KL Rahul, and there is another name, a bigger one. Can you guess which one that is?
Um, Pujara has opened before, but
Oh,
who
I
do
was
you have?
talking about Prithvi Shaw.
Oh, right, of course, yes. Sorry, but
Right?
he's on a ban, so yeah.
Yeah. No, but what happens when Prithvi Shaw comes back? No, because he was sort of seen as a long-term opener, and you have one opener on one end. You have Mayank Agarwal probably holding the spot down, right? And he's
Yes.
doing well already. So you have at least KL Rahul, who's also sort of an opener. He has a 199 in tests. He's not a complete nobody there. And this
Yeah,
199
exactly.
is only like one and a half seasons ago or something, right? He can do the job. He hit 100 in the same match that Pant hit to 150 in Oval in England. So
Yeah.
it's not very long ago. So he's still sort of cut out for the job. So it's going to be an interesting thing. For me, it's sort of an attempt by the selection committee and those people to try to get Rohit into the 11. So for me, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
exactly
exactly.
happy about that because he's no doubt extremely talented. But what we needed from Rohit or anybody was a number 6 player. So Hanuma Vihari has done the job and sort of made it his own. I would
Yeah.
not begrudge that slot to him because Rohit Sharma, no matter how talented he is, he doesn't fit into this 11. This is my way of thinking.
Mixed feelings.
Exactly. So there are a couple of things I think about when it comes to cricketing, roles that are, you can't swap. One of those is an opener's job.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
a specialized job. Be it
Yeah.
an opening bowler or an opening batter, that's a specialized job. You can't simply swap anybody else to take over that job. At our level, at our league level, we have seen that, sometimes we do send in other openers and it works, but mainly it's how to deal with a swinging ball and take that 5-8 overs out of the game, no matter which format of the game. Even in a one-day format, that's what you do, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
but then maybe he will succeed. And the rest of this topic or this debate can be parked for a later time. If he succeeds, well, where does Rahul fit in? Where does Shaw fit in? They'll fit in if and when the chance is presented to them. Right? And they will get a chance and we'll see if they get on with it or not. Right? So for now, he's the man that's been interested with the job, and I would say he's been given the security of a 3-match series. I think he'll do all right. Rahul has made 100 playing in this Vijay Hazare Trophy, right? He's made 100 opening, and he's sent sort of a timely reminder to the Indian selectors. He's still, sort of an opener by profession, and he can still be chosen. So let's see how that happens once the series of South Africa is over. I am assuming Rohit has the job for at least 3 tests. It will be not right if he doesn't get that opportunity. So let's see how that goes, right? Anything to add with respect to the Indian squad?
Well, no, I don't think I have anything to add at this point. So
All
I think
right.
we pretty much covered everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So now let's look at the South Africa squad. So from their 15, they have a good mix of pace, raw pace. They have some swinging people like Vernon Philander. Then you have spinners in the form of, Dane Pete, of course, and then Keshav Maharaj, who's probably the number 1 spinner. They also have an interesting guy, Senuran Muthuswamy, who's a left-arm
Muthuswamy.
spinning all-rounder. Right?
Yes.
Did you see the board 11 match by any chance or follow it?
Yeah, I did follow it though. He
Uh-huh.
did pick up a wicket.
Right. So
Yeah.
when you look at their 11 or possibility of an 11, would you like to go ahead and give us an 11? What do you think would be the 11?
Well, I've got the 9 spots fixed. We could talk about the 2 remaining ones. So,
All
well,
right.
first up opening would be Markram, Eden Markram,
Uh-huh.
Dean Elgar, probably Thunes de Bruin at number 3. He scored a century against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
And then Temba Bavuma, Faf du Plessis.
Mm-hmm.
Quinton de Kock will be the keeper, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the bowlers would be Rabada, Philander, and Keshav Maharaj. And
Mm-hmm.
I've kept two spots empty. And it depends on who they go for. Whether an all-rounder in Senuran Muthuswamy, a specialist spin bowler in Dane Peeth, which I think they probably will.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think they might go for Zubair Hamza,
Mm-hmm.
a specialist batsman. But as much as I know that he will play, I also hope they can somehow fit Henrik Klassen in. I think he's a brilliant player of spin, and he's already showed that on many occasions. So I don't see
Right.
why Henrik Klassen cannot be, in the 11. But
Mm-hmm.
what's your 11 then?
So for me, I agree with most of the spots. Your 9 would be my 9, I think. So Elgar
Yeah,
and Markram to open.
yeah,
You have Theonis de Bruin at 3, Faf du
yes,
Plessis at 4, Temba Bavuma at 5, and Quinton de Kock at 6. But okay, now comes the spot that you wanted to pick, right?
yeah,
So for me, I would say it would probably be a toss-up between Heinrich Klaasen and Zubair Hamza.
yeah,
You're absolutely right. But there could be this, what do you call it, this red herring in the form of Senuran Muthuswamy. So the
yes,
number
yes,
6 slot is not a sort of decided for me. So they tried out Senuran Muthuswamy also in the board president's 11, right? So
yeah,
he didn't really light it on fire, so to say. Yeah, he bowled only 1 over. He didn't get to bat. That
yeah,
tells me he's here to learn. I don't think he'll start the first test.
exactly.
So that means it's between either Zubair Hamza and Henrik Klaasen.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
So I'm talking of the number 6 slot, and here I would say because Hamza batted at number 4 in the board president's 11 game, Henrik Klaasen
Yeah,
didn't bat, and then it was a one-inning shootout effectively. So for me, Zubair Hamza is the man in position for the number 6 slot,
absolutely.
right? So that's how I
Yeah,
would look at it. And then you have Quinton de Kock, definitely the keeper, number 7, right?
yep.
That leaves them 4 bowling options. For me, it's Vernon Philander, Kagiso Rabada to
Hmm.
start, and then Dane Peet and Keshav Maharaj.
All
Because
right, fair
Keshav
enough.
Maharaj can bat a bit, right?
Yeah,
This would be my 11 going for South
yeah.
Africa. Any other talking points for you? Any other?
Well, yeah. I mean, I do have to mention that 4 bowlers for South Africa is a bit risky for them because Dane Peeth, he hasn't really made constant appearances. He's made very sporadic appearances, especially in India. I mean, he does have the experience of bowling in India, but we don't know how reliable he is getting top order wickets. If you look at the South Africa A tour, most of the wickets that he picked were probably the lower order wickets. So I'm not sure how reliable he is, but obviously I think he has a lot of experience playing back home, captaining the Cape Cobras, and
Right.
he finished as the highest wicket taker this season. So he does play, obviously. The one problem in South Africa's lineup is that they don't have an all-rounder, a genuine out-and-out all-rounder. They did have Ryan Mulder, if you're aware of him.
Yeah. Ian Mulder, yeah.
Yeah, he could have been included. I mean, that would have made a difference and could have been really interesting. He did pick up a few wickets playing for South Africa A, and he also scored 131 to go along with Aiden Markram's 161 in
Right.
I think the second unofficial test.
Right.
So that would have been an interesting call.
No, that's not a bad call at all. I don't know how the pitch in Vizag will be. I don't think it's particularly friendly to fast bowling. If it was a
Yeah.
fast bowling friendly pitch, I would have picked somebody like, as you say, Vian Mulder for the all-rounder role.
Exactly.
But right now, you have Keshav Maharaj who can bat, Vernon Philander who can bat as well.
Yeah.
They both do bat. I mean, they're more than bunnies. Let me put it like this. Rabada can hang
Yes.
on.
Yeah, Rabada.
So the other option, what you said, is also interesting for me. Maybe instead of Dane Peet was very costly in the, in
Absolutely.
the board president's 11 match. So maybe
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They could also make a gamble here.
No, I was saying that he's probably just trying to find his mojo on this tour. It's really
All
tough for
right.
an off spinner in India, unless you're Nathan
Mm-hmm.
Lyon.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe it'll be Dane Pete, but on the other hand, it would be somebody like Heinrich Nortje, an out-and-out fast bowler who has a bit of an
Yeah,
attitude as well, a bit of lip, right? He
yeah.
was all right in
But
that
yeah,
Board President's 11 match. So it could be three fast bowlers and one spinner. Keshav Maharaj will definitely start, and I see Rabada and Philander definitely starting. So that would
yeah.
mean the last bowling spot might either be Heinrich Nortje or Dane Pete. So this remains to be seen. My pick is actually Dane Pete. Let's see how that goes, right?
Yeah, but again, I don't think they'll play Henrik Nordje. Again, he's here to learn.
Hmm.
But I think Longingidi has bowled more overs than Henrik Nordje this series. I mean, obviously for South Africa A as well as in the Board President's 11.
Right.
And Longingidi did play in the IPL, so he has some idea about the conditions. So that is why I feel, maybe he can have a chance, an outside chance, but still a chance nonetheless.
That's a good point as well. He knows the conditions, so
Yeah.
probably he knows the conditions better than Heinrich Nortje. So
Of
that's
course, yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
right? We'll see how that goes, but those are decent elements, I would say. So
Yeah.
now when it comes to results, so do you have a prediction for the series? So it's one in Vizag, one in Pune, and one in Ranchi. So do you have any prediction for the series? What will be the series result?
Well, I think, see, it could be 3-0 going to India, or it could be 2-1 going to India. But I don't
Hmm.
see South Africa winning the series. They've never been, good enough um, playing in subcontinental conditions. I think
Right.
it goes down to how they prepare for it. They have most of the players playing the county championship, just a few weeks before their tour to subcontinent. I don't think that's the way to prepare. I mean, I'm not really criticizing it, but you saw how Australia prepared before their tour to India. They went
Right.
to the
Right.
UAE. They prepared very well. I don't see South Africa doing that.
No, but you should also accept that many of them were here playing the unofficial tests, right? The
Yeah,
A
that
level
is
tests,
that is true.
right? So there's still something. I mean, come on, it's
Yeah,
in
of
the
course. Yeah.
modern day grind, right? With the number of matches that each of these guys get to play, they also need some downtime. So
Oh,
you
obviously,
can't
yeah.
again go away do a camp somewhere in, I don't know, UAE or somewhere. It's possible, but it also goes with how the planning goes.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, it's definitely less planning. They should have played one or two more, let's say, first class matches before the first test started. That would have been ideal, but probably they don't have the
Yeah.
time for it, right?
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes. So I sort of agree with you, but what sort of a result, if you were to just give it a number, what sort of results would you give it to India?
I think 3-0 India.
All right.
As much as I want South Africa to win a test match, I don't
Hmm.
know. Probably it's a bit of a tall order for them. But it
Yeah.
could be a very close series, maybe 2-1. But I think I'll go for 3-1. 3-0, sorry.
I agree with you, I think there. So for me, I don't see South Africa winning a test. So I would say it's a 2-0 because at least one of the tests I expect will be a bit weather affected. Too
Yeah.
much rain happening. Some extended monsoon is going on currently in India, which is unexpected.
Absolutely.
But
Yes. Yes.
I would give it 2-0 to India, and I really don't see South Africa winning a test. But who knows,
Yeah.
they have a decent
Yeah.
enough fast bowling attack and even a very good spinner in Keshav Maharaj. So let's not completely let them away. But my
Yeah,
personal
fair enough.
opinion is it'll be 2-0 to India. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now going further, we know that there was the ODI series between Sri Lanka and Pakistan that was scheduled to start on 27th, but the first ODI has been washed out in Karachi due to some unseasonal rain. And
Yeah.
the second ODI has been postponed to 30th. So, probably the people of Pakistan were really, really looking forward to the matches starting. First ever match in Karachi back in almost a decade, right? It's very
Yeah.
unfortunate it got rained out, but we really hope, they can get another chance and get to see the second ODI. Usually, it's a very unfortunate thing if the first ODI gets rained out. If the third one or the fifth one or something gets rained out, you can live with it. You say, okay, we watched 2 or 3 matches. The first one already got rained out. It's a bit unfortunate, but I really hope the rest of the matches go on without hitch. Then,
Absolutely.
similarly, the T20 series between India and South Africa women. This also got rained out. The second match has been rained out. The first one was won by India closely. The second
Yeah.
one that was supposed to be played in Surat was rained out. The third one is started right now, so we'll probably be covering it in one of the upcoming episodes.
Fair
Right?
enough. Yeah.
Then there is this interesting T20 series going on between Zimbabwe and then Singapore, right? And Nepal.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting. They have live matches, live coverage on YouTube. So
Yes,
anybody
indeed.
can watch it. So that's very interesting. Only thing I think we'll really look out on how it goes. For now, Zimbabwe look very strong, and so do Nepal. So Nepal lost to Zimbabwe, but then they came back and beat Singapore. So today the match
Yeah.
between Zimbabwe and Singapore is going on. So Singapore has set up a very nice total. So we'll see if
181.
right. So it's an 18-over game. So it's a 10 run per over sort of a chase required. So Zimbabwe has started off decently. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. Right. So
Indeed.
let's hope it'll be a nail biter of a match. So
Definitely.
going further, now let's look at the other news, some of the news from outside of the cricketing field. So, for example, Essex have won the county championship again, second time in 3 years. Did you have a chance to follow this?
Yeah, definitely. I did watch it, whatever I could. It was very sad that Somerset, they could have won, but unfortunately rain prevented them from doing so. But it was, I think, a brilliant exhibition of Test match cricket. Somerset had to forfeit an innings, and
Right.
I think the spinners, Jack Leach and Roloff van der Merwe, they were
Mhm.
brilliant. They were right on the money,
Right.
and obviously Sir Alistair Cook chipped in with a 50 or so. It was
Mhm.
again a low-scoring game, but again, very interesting in nature, I have to say.
Indeed. So, do you begrudge Essex a championship win in such a way, or do you think they deservedly won it?
Yeah, I think it should have been a fair game, probably a 4-day match with weather not interrupting, because that would have been very fair. Because you got Simon Harmer on one side, you got, Alistair Cook and all the top batsmen for Essex, and then you have Murli Vijay for Somerset, then, uh, Tom Abell, Hildreth, Banton. So, it's a brilliant team if you look, even on the Somerset side. So I think
Mm.
a fair result would have been, a full game. That would have really decided the winner. But unfortunately, we didn't see that happening. So I think we just
Right.
go with what it is.
Indeed. Indeed. So, I mean, there is also some scheduling complaints. It's so late in the summer. You can definitely expect
Yeah.
rains after 15th of September and so on and so on. But
Yeah.
yeah, needs must. You have a World Cup, you have an Ashes. So what can be done, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing. The other thing, yeah, I sort of feel sorry for Somerset. They've never won the county championship, right? So Essex have won
Yeah.
it for sure. And so it's let's say an Dutch person, so Ryan Tendoshkata, who's the captain, and I think he's the second time he's winning it in 3 years, so he'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
people like Alistair Cook has still showing that they have enough left in the tank. You have somebody like Ravi Bopara who's trying to make a comeback to the England, at least the shortest format game, probably
Yeah.
T20.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. So, but all in all, a good end to the championship. Also, I think Trescothick ended his first class career finally. He's some
Yeah.
40 odd. He played
43.
on forever,
Yeah.
right? So fantastic. So just that it was a bit of an anticlimax, but yeah, these things happen.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. Going on, you also have, the second generation of administrators. So now if you look at some of the State Cricket Association elections. So for example, before October 4th, all the State Cricket Association elections had to happen, we heard. So for example, Rupa Srinivasan, the daughter of N. Srinivasan, is going to be the next TNCA chairperson. Or you have Jaydev Shah, the ex-batsman of Saurashtra, who was son of Niranjan Shah, is going to be the next chief of Saurashtra Cricket Association. Right, some second generation stuff happening. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's very interesting. A few names aren't really surprising, but again, I think they are probably the right people to take Indian domestic cricket in the right direction.
Right, for sure. Look, Jaydev Shah has also played cricket at the top level. He's played 100 plus first class matches. That's very nice. But Rupa Srinivasan, it looks like a bit of a, I wouldn't go using the word nepotism, but it looks like a bit of hierarchical or almost like a dynastical sort
Yeah.
of a takeover. Right?
Yeah.
That is not something that is really, I'm not really a big fan of that. For example, in the other cases, Roger Binny, will probably take
Yeah.
over as the KSCA chairperson. That's good, right? An international kind of former cricketer taking over. That's good. Also, you have Ganguly, who's been re-elected as the chairperson of CAB, Cricket Association of Bengal. Also good. And Azharuddin, Muhammad Azharuddin, the former India captain, a little bit of a pariah over the last couple of decades, has been reinstituted or rehabilitated, and now he's back. Now he's the chairperson of Hyderabad Cricket Association. As a cricketing fan, as a person who follows cricket and saw Azharuddin's rise and fall, so to say,
Yeah.
and now rise again, Are you happy or are you not happy that somebody like this has still got a chance to represent a sporting or govern a sporting body? Somebody who's at the top of his game, who was the captain of the Indian cricket team, and but some for one reason or the other decided to throw it away, did some work with bookies, right, and then was rightly penalized. Now he's been rehabilitated. That's okay. But do you think he deserves to be let's say, the head of a cricketing body in India? That was the question.
Yeah, well, I think it's very interesting, but see, it all depends on what kind of precedent he has set. But you say that he's been through, rehabilitation, so it's very similar to, I think, what something like Steve Smith or David Warner. They were also, amidst controversies, they did come back. They made a comeback. So I think I think he deserves a chance. And well, I mean, he does know Indian cricket pretty well. So let's see how that goes down.
Yeah, all right. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt, you say. Let's see how that goes. All right.
Absolutely.
Now, another one, Lance Klusener, the former South African all-rounder, has been appointed as the Afghanistan head coach.
Yes.
So it's an interesting choice because Lance Klusener has been around the coaching circuit. We know that he's been like a batting consultant for South Africa. He's been a bowling consultant, also I think a interim coach for Zimbabwe, right? He's coached one of the South African provincial teams, right? So he has coaching pedigree. He's not only has the relevant, let's say, certifications, but also has some coaching pedigree. And he's taking over from Andy Moles, who was doing sort of a holding job since Phil Simmons was ran out of his tenure. So after that, it's a very interesting choice. All I see is that he's a very exciting person. I've heard him talk on some Pakistani cricket analysis shows. He's an interesting person. He knows the cricket well enough. And whether he can bring the same approach to Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a bunch of very, very talented people.
Absolutely.
But there are some strong heads there. There is also some infighting. For example, Phil Simmons said he was not happy with the team that was given to him in the World Cup, right? The captaincy changed. Some other person was named the captain. Asghar Afghan was retained in the 11. Some weird things were happening there. So he's yet to tell us what happened. But it looks like there are some outside interferences going on with the team selection and other things. So
probably.
Do you think Klusener will cope with that? Will be able to do well with that?
I think he will be. Personally, I feel one of the major challenges that he faces is that he needs to revamp the batting, or maybe just chip in with a batting form that Afghanistan has shown in the World Cup. They need to all he needs to do is inspire some confidence into the batting lineup and how they perform abroad, because we saw in the World Cup that they were sometimes agonizingly slow in terms of batting. So I think that really has to change. Otherwise, I think Afghanistan is pretty much a great force to reckon with. Also, the fast bowling, I think even that needs a little bit of some inspiration.
We know that they'll be playing their first home tour, air quotes home tour, against, I think, West Indies. We are coming to tour them. They'll be playing in Noida, I think. Noida is their home.
I think it's in Dehradun.
Doon, is it? Sorry. Okay, probably you're right. It's Dehradun. So then it's going to be interesting because they are playing in India, it'll probably be a spin-heavy attack. They anyway have some very good spinners. They have like one fast bowler. They usually have 1 and 3. One fast bowler, maybe a fast bowling all-rounder or a medium pace all-rounder, and 3 spinners. Usually this is what they do. With Nabi out of the picture, it's going to be a very interesting thing for me to see whether somebody like, this, I think there was a left-arm spinner, right? I think Waqar Khan, or I forget his name.
Waqar Salam Kheel.
That guy, Waqar Salam Kheel. So that guy could be in there. Or otherwise, it could also be, Mujibur Rahman, the leg spinning prodigy, along with, of course, captain Rashid Khan. So it's going to be very interesting what sort of a choice they make.
Zahir Khan as well. But Zahir Khan. Very unique bowling combination with two left-arm wrist spinners in the 11. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they have enough wrist spinners. So you have 2 leg break wrist spinners and 1 left-arm wrist spinner. I think I mixed up Waqar Salam Kheel and Zahir Khan and came up with Waqar Khan. But okay, all right. So we'll see how that goes. So it's going to be interesting. But what I see is they are learning their ropes very quickly. So when it comes to building an innings, right, in 50-over cricket, that's why you saw this slowness in their batting. They are now in a position where they are learning to build an innings slowly and get up to 230, 240, 250, right? And the conditions were completely alien to them. It was England. But in conditions like India or, on the subcontinent, they'll be a real handful. right? They're sure. I think they know how to build a bigger total when it comes to long
Absolutely.
format or shorter format. They showed the kind of maturity they have when they beat Ireland so comfortably. Let's see how that goes, right?
Also Bangladesh recently. But it's
Yeah,
all
indeed.
about, how they play, in seeming conditions, somewhere like England or New Zealand or somewhere like that.
Right. Look, we have to give them a bit of benefit of the doubt. Countries like
Yeah,
India, Pakistan,
obviously.
and other countries have really struggled when they went to play in semi conditions for like 20, 30, 40 years, right?
They'll
I
learn.
somehow,
They'll learn.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
I somehow
saying.
think they will not take that long. The way their cricket is
Yeah,
growing,
no, they won't.
they'll probably learn the tricks of the trade a bit sooner. Whether their bowling lineup can also match up to a good seeming condition, that's going to be a very interesting one. So, but indeed, that's
Interesting.
some of the challenges that are coming up for them, right?
Yeah.
Now, Shantha Rangaswamy, who's a member of the CAC, has resigned because she's a member of CAC, the Cricket Advisory Committee, as well as the director of Indian Cricket Association (ICA). So, citing this as a conflict of interest, she got notice from the ethics officer DK Jain recently. So now she has decided to step down from the CAC. So she was a part of CAC along with Kapil Dev and Anshuman Gaikwad. So it was
Yeah.
a very interesting thing that she's decided to step down. So she said CSE meets once every couple of months, maybe even once or twice a year. So why is there a conflict of interest? I don't understand, but okay, fine, I can respect that the rules are there. So I'll step down voluntarily, she says, and she's walked away. I think they're taking this conflict of interest to a different and a very unnecessarily complicated level. For example, recently Lakshman was asked, Dravid was asked. Dravid has actually put on hold his employment with India Cements to take up as the role of the coaching role of, let's say, Indian under 19 and India A, and also as the head of the National Cricket Academy in Bangalore. In spite of that, he was given a conflict of interest notice. So I think it does look like somebody's become a bit over eager or overzealous with the opportunity to assign these conflict of interest notices, and they have been firing them left, right, and center. But let's see how it goes because I'm not particularly happy. She's a very old and very experienced cricketer, and she has seen the system inside out, also as a player and as an administrator. So losing somebody of her stature is not a very good thing for Indian cricket, I think. But let's see how that pans out because maybe she can be persuaded to rejoin the committee, or maybe the next person who's appointed to this such a committee has been chosen with enough experience and can make up for it. Going ahead, if you were to look at the trivia question, so the trivia question from last episode was a bit conflicting. I heard a couple of people asking me questions about what sort of a trivia question or few more doubts about it. So that means the question was not clear. So I will repeat the question and I'll give some clarification about it, but I will not reveal the answer for this question, right? So the
All right.
question, which country's first test 100 came in the latest match? That is the most number of matches taken. So what I mean by that is, for example, Australia's first test 100 was scored in the first test, right? Charlie Bannerman did it, we know. Afghanistan's first test 100 came in the third test match by Rahmat Shah, right? Bangladesh's came in the first test match, Aminul Haq, Ireland, Kevin O'Brien, and so on and so on. So the question was, which country took the most number of matches to score its first test 100? That was the question. And maybe it should have been framed like this in a much more simpler way. So I will give another opportunity to all our keen listeners out there to try and get back to us with an answer. So which country's first test 100 came after most number of matches? So do get in touch with us for the answer for this question from the previous episode. The question for this episode is, which bowler has taken the most number of wickets in the bilateral India versus South Africa test series? So far South Africa played a bunch of test series, both India and in South Africa, right? With all of them put together, which bowler has the most number of wickets in these test series, right? So do get in touch with us to write about our podcast, your thoughts about the podcast, or write the answer to the question that we have asked or the questions we have asked. So you could get in touch with us at armchair.cricket on Twitter or via the Facebook page, or you could write into us at armchair.cricket@gmail.com, right? Do keep your thoughts coming in and do keep your answers coming in. They always give us a lot of fillip that what we are doing is reaching out to people there. Right. So, Malhar, I would like to say thank you for your participation in today's episode. I hope you had some fun time.
Definitely. Thank you. I mean, it's been an honor being on the podcast, and it was good fun.
Well, you took it way too seriously. Honor. Well, thanks a lot. I would like to.
No, obviously it's good fun.
Also, would you like to plug some of your work on online, maybe your Twitter handle and other things?
Yeah, I mean, I do rant a little bit on Twitter, Mostly I just do retweets of whatever I like about cricket. But you can find me on Malhar, I mean @Malhar_Hathi, and I'm always up for a cricket talk, no matter what time of the day it is. And yeah, I mean I do write a lot on Last Word on Cricket, so you'll find the link of my articles on my Twitter bio.
All right then. Thanks a lot, Malhar. Having said all that, it's a goodbye from both of us, and we wish all our listeners a good day wherever you're listening. Thank you.
Amazing.
And bye.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Armchair Cricket Podcast.